This week it's just us boys. Green has spent some time with a new laptop and shares his thought on it. But first, before that, let's talk about Street Fighter 6. Of course, stick around until the end of the show to hear some deals of the week. All of that and more in this week's episode of the podcast. Roll the intro. Damn. The scat game is strong today. Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I am your host, Danny K. With me, as always, the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Greenlee. Green, how are you doing this week?
I only know what suffering is this week.
Yeah,
That's it.
do you want to expand upon that just a little bit?
I've had a subtle earache for like the last week, and it's kind of like evolved into a full on ear infection, which is the bee's knees, if you will. The
Yeah,
absolute cream of the crop. It's great. It's fantastic.
I envy you so much. We're also
As you should.
Damn, Pagliacci, you should go see an otolaryngologist or whatever the fuck they call those things. Otolaryngologist or whatever the fuck.
Pain,
I don't know.
pain and suffering builds character. Okay.
You know, I think my granddad said the same thing to my dad. That would explain a lot of my growing up too. Huh.
Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine.
That happened to me once.
So that's the spooky and the ookly Mendacii. Mendacii, how are you doing this week?
You know, now I'm just thinking about like all the times that my dad had like caked whatever wound I had in mud,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about returning to monkey. I don't know. What do you guys think? Return to monkey?
Return to monkey? Return to monkey?
Return to monkey. Yeah.
Um, well, I also want to take a quick second. We're pre-recording this week's episode because I have to be out of town on Tuesdays. But also want to take a quick second because today is actually your birthday. So thank you
Oh
for
shit, yeah, it is.
spending your birthday with us, baby boo.
Yeah, the big 3-1. It's just a repeat of your 20s, but you just wake up sore sometimes. That's all it is.
Sometimes it's all the
Yeah.
time.
Nah, I mean like today's
Wait,
pretty
yeah.
good, but like tomorrow might not be. Also, really weird fun fact about me. The longest time, 17 years in a row, it rained on my birthday. But that streak got broken I think about 4 years ago. Yeah. Really weird.
Hmm.
Sunny today. Maybe sunny tomorrow. Who knows?
So usually we aren't human almanacs. We talk about video games.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for watching and listening to the show. Be sure to stick around until the end of the show to hear about some awesome deals we found for you this week. Of course, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If we're doing it live, you can find that usually on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Mendacii.
Oh, hey, yeah. Thinking
Street
about
Fighter
rain
6.
again. Yeah, sorry, it's just the inner Iowa in me. But anyway, yeah, Street Fighter 6. I'd like to preface this with I've been playing Street Fighter since 2 and Hyper and Street Fighter 3, Alpha, Third Strike, 4 Arcade Ultra Edition with the Omega update, Street Fighter 5. What an abysmal fucking time that was. Street Fighter 6 is all of that and none of it. You see, like Capcom has just been nailing it almost 100% the past few years, especially with Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry, and it's really nice to be able to put Street Fighter 6 up on that list too. Just a bullseye on day one. There's no glitches. There's no like gross, greedy microtransactions that can't be avoided through reasonable gameplay. Like they're still there, but it's for people that are really impatient because they're very easy to get otherwise, and it's all cosmetics. That being said, there's no craptacular servers, there's no controversy. It's just quite possibly the best fighting game to release in over a decade, far surpassing the past two titles. From the jaw dropping presentation and matches, accompanied by great music, to the exceptional leaps and bounds that they took in the accessibility options. I'm just really happy that I've gotten a chance to play it so far this weekend. So, first things first, I'd like to talk to you guys about the modes that are available because it's actually way more than what you've come to expect in any other fighting game. Starting with the most strange, diverse, and new mode to fighting games, kind of like Mortal Kombat's Conquest mode, but a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. So it's a massive single player story mode with your created character with a phenomenal character creation system. You can really make any abomination or normal human being that you want to. And then you go around the world kind of seeking the mentorship of any of the Street Fighter 6 cast. You do that through a combination of quests and main storyline stuff or subquests, so on and so forth. And I'll touch on that a little bit later. But by doing this, you're able to pick an actual move list or style that you'd like to play. Say you're a Ryu player, you can go and learn from Ryu and you can fight like Ryu, but you really like some of Chun-Li's super attacks. Um, you can just add those to your roster. So you can fight primarily like Ryu. You can throw Hadoukens if you want to, or not, and instead just choose to do spinning bird kick and Kikoken. It's really interesting. You can build a completely unique way to play, and you kind of become an amalgam of all of the characters that you know and love, and some new ones as well. There's also a feat tree that works a lot like an RPG. As you level up, you get skill points, and with those skill points, you purchase little sections on a tree. As you pick one, the other one becomes unavailable, so on and so forth. And you just keep leveling up and building up a feat tree. Things like stronger kick power, stronger punch power, maybe more defense, more health, or perhaps, some of the more incidental things. You see, the game actually functions a lot like Yakuza in that you're in a giant city, which is Metro City from Final Fight, and you can just fight people as you run into them. Of course, there's also people that want to beat the shit out of you, and so you can get into these incidental fights. Some of them are very difficult, and some of them you do for the story mode. And there's also cutscenes involved here, which are honestly masterful. Really, really good. And everything's in engine with no stuttering, nothing weird like cars falling out of the sky, nothing like you get punted into the clouds by a car, nothing like that. It's beautiful, and it's fun, and it's hilarious. It's rife with Capcom Easter eggs and, all these, like, neat little references, a lot of good goofy comedy. It doesn't take itself very seriously, yet the story itself still feels like it has weight, and it's enjoyable to be a part of, and you actually wanna keep going and playing the story. You don't have to be a massive Capcom mark in order to enjoy it. It really is just an enjoyable, fun time. Something else that's really interesting here is that they do have a gear mechanic, which, like some people might groan at. Injustice 2 tried it. It sucked balls, and you would usually look like hot garbage, but it might have the best stats. You don't have to worry about that with Street Fighter 6 because there's already like a layering system implemented in it. For those of you that are fans of Monster Hunter, you already kind of know what I'm talking about. You can wear armor that gives you the best stats, but you can look exactly how you want to. Do you like that backwards hat more than you like wearing, say, an entire uh like mascot costume of Blanca? You don't wanna look like a goofy goober on screen running around a city? That's totally fine, man. You can wear the goofy Blanca costume, but still look like a normal human. Um, it's all there. It's very easy. You don't have to really, like, unlock that. Speaking of unlocking, the game does a really good job of actually unlocking your actual potential as a fighting game player. Even if you're new to fighting games or you're not that good, a lot of the mini games in this story mode, as well as like how you progress through the story mode, actually teach you the fundamentals in a way that it's kind of like Mr. Miyagi sitting there telling you how to like wax a car or wash a fence. Before you know it, you're actually getting better at timing parries or understanding the fundamentals and mechanics that go into being an unstoppable Street Fighter. It's pretty sick. And on top of that, the mini games are fun and you earn extra gold or zenny, which is the money from Monster Hunter. And then you can go and buy other cool stuff. Um, there's tons of item pickups, and again, like the goofy references and the self-referential comedy is always around the corner. It's honestly a lot of it is better left unspoken, and better experienced. And it would take so long to actually do a full deep dive onto this mode alone. Um, if you're interested in RPGs, you like the Yakuza series or anything like that, this mode alone is probably close to like, I don't even know, man, like 30 hours, maybe more, depending on how thorough you are. And it's been a great time the entire time. So if you just want the single player experience, this should already sell you. To be honest, there's also like a bond meter that you have with all of the mentors in this game. If you get their bond with you up to 100, you actually unlock their secondary costume. If you're really impatient, you could purchase this costume for real people money. I think you might be able to do it with the game's currency, which is drive tickets, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Regardless, you can earn and unlock everyone's costumes and their color palettes and stuff like that just by playing the game. That being said, this kind of part is almost like Persona. You got to give them their favorite gifts. You got to chat them up. You got to send them text messages when they send you text messages, maybe spar them. There's just like a lot of goofy things in here that don't feel like they've ever been a part of Street Fighter, but it always should have been because this feels so right. So that is just World Tour. The next mode is the Battle Hub, which is the online match area. This is where you actually get to hang out in like a physical lobby with the avatar you created with from for World Tour, and you get to sit down at arcade cabinets and go against your friends. Now, when you're playing like this, you're actually picking like, oh, I want to play Guile, and the other person picks Jury, something like that, and you guys go toe to toe in a normal match. However, there's also avatar matches. So you can take your monster that you made in the world tour mode that might have, a head this big and arms this big, but then like giant legs and maybe they're shaped like a carrot. I don't know. But you could literally go fight a whole bunch of goofy abominations if you really want to, along with the move lists that you have unlocked in World Tour. So that's pretty fun. There's also other arcade cabinets that have these kind of like mini game style fighting modes, like breaking the barrels or punching drones out of the air. Some matches work like horse, where it's like, first one to throw the other person, or like you have to throw someone 3 times and do a super attack and yada yada yada. And they have their own list of things that they need to do, and the first one to finish their list wins. Um, that's really fun, especially if you're just, like, looking for something to do that's not just playing match after match after match. Uh, there's a lot there to unpack and enjoy, stuff that just never existed in a Street Fighter title before. The last mode is the fighting ground, and the fighting ground is the one that I think a lot of people go towards, especially if you're not really into like fighting other people that aren't your friends. This is your offline mode. So if you like couch battles, or you like to go to locals and maybe just play a couple people from your area, that's where you have this mode. It also has arcade mode, something that Street Fighter 5 didn't even have at launch. So it immediately goes places where Street Fighter 5 didn't chance to go in. It's like first, I think like 6 months. Um, you can also unlock a lot of stuff through arcade mode as well. So if you really are just looking for a single player experience between Fighting Ground and World Tour, you already have countless hours. And before anyone's kind of wondering, there's also a training mode in this offline mode. Another thing that Street Fighter 5 didn't really have. And you don't have to pay a microtransaction to see the frame data if you're that serious about your fighting game knowledge. So if you really want to hone yourself to a very sharp edge, you can do all of that right off the bat with Street Fighter 6. Now,
Is
as far as
that
gameplay, yeah, what's up?
is that a normal thing where you have to pay to see the frame data?
No, that was Street Fighter 5 alone. No one else ever did that. Street Fighter 5 was absolute dog shit. That was the other thing I actually wanted to bring up. So thank you for making me take a second. To boot up Street Fighter 5, it took about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes sometimes. And even playing offline, I had the game glitch out so that during the entire fight, the word fight after it says, like go. match start, just hung right in the middle of my screen. So of course the computer isn't bothered by this, but I am because I can't see anything. Street Fighter 5 was a busted fucking mess right off the bat, and it stayed that way pretty much the entire time. And it was filled with greedy microtransactions for costume packs and stuff like that that made it feel more like Dead or Alive than anything else. What a terrible, god awful game. Moving into the gameplay of Street Fighter 6, it sounds really weird to bring it up for a fighting game. There's combos. You punch, there's some super moves. Maybe you got like a cool ultra attack at the end if you have bar or whatever. But there's something so different about Street Fighter 6 that I have to bring it up. There's a new method of accessibility as far as your controls that brings SF6 into this position where it could usher in a brand new era of fighting game fans. That would be the modern button setup, which allows you to feel less intimidated and not have to focus on the technical stick movements for some characters, such as charging or maybe a crazy zigzag or a dragon upper. If these things just make your head spin, using modern controls is a really great way to actually get your head wrapped around the game and enjoy it and learn it. And you can play it pretty much the entire time if you really want to. That being said, it uses adaptive AI that helps you react to your opponent's moves that would be harder for those either new to the genre, series, or even just the character that you chose. It simplifies button inputs so you don't have to do all those crazy stick movements. If you're someone who's always been a fan of, say, something closer to like Super Smash Bros. Or something like that, this would be the mode that you would want to start your controls on. In fact, when you start up World Tour, it has you start there. It's going to try and put everyone on the same level and work their way up. Now, if you see this as a sort of training wheels, which some people will, the cool thing is that you can retain using modern controls if, say, anytime that you're on the player two side of the screen, so the right hand side of the screen. Most people are more comfortable over here on the left side. So if you just want to use modern controls when you're placed over here on the right side, you can do that. Or maybe you just want to have it on for certain characters. You can do that too. Really comfortable with Ryu, but you've never touched Cammy in your life and you're really interested in Cammy now because let's be honest, everyone's interested in Cammy right now. You could do modern controls for just Cammy. And then on top of that, you can still remap your buttons.
Cammy, more like
The
mommy.
accessibility options, right? I mean, like Marisa, though. Anyway, so you have so many things that you can do with the controls here that it makes it the most accessible fighting game on the market and likely one that has come out ever. And it doesn't stop there. You can increase the visual details of when people are throwing out supers or when you're doing something so that you don't miss it. If you have a really hard time spotting when someone has iframes or invincibility frames, or maybe like they're doing a super art and you want to know where each of those punches is going to go, you can make that game highlight that more so that you can train yourself to always see it. I bet, I bet that we are going to see a lot of top tier players having those accessibility options up even though they are veterans. And it goes the same way for audio as well. There's better audio cues, and you can have it highlight a lot more. That way, you can pick up on these nuances that maybe someone that's new to the genre or new to the game in general isn't going to notice. It wants you and everyone else to enjoy playing fighting games and take a lot of that kind of nuance, like, oh, you have to have 500 hours in this game before you completely understand what's going on. That's not there anymore. It's very, very open and it's very, very inclusive. Everything is really doable. I really honestly think that we're going to see a massive upsurge in the market of people buying things like Kanba, Hori, and Hitbox fighting sticks. Uh, I could see a lot of people getting really interested in fighting games. That being said, I use a PS2 controller and always will, and probably always will afterwards too. So, moreover, On the accessibility option, I mean, again, you can tailor fit this to any controller or any player character, anything. So, regardless of who you are or what you like, you can find a setting that's going to make this a very fun experience for you. It's added a ton in the way that you can do mechanically while simultaneously making it the easiest and most accessible fighting game to release in many years, thus making it the easiest recommendation for a fighting game I've ever made, even before being on a show like Next to Nothing. $60 may be steep for some folks, especially for those that aren't big fans of fighting games in the first place. But I think if you've ever been interested in fighting games or you thought this game in particular looked cool, now's the time to take that chance. I lucked out, and this game came out 2 days before my birthday, so this was gifted to me. Um, but I was already stoked from the get go, and I've been thinking about this game for over a year, and man, I'm blown away. It's everything I wanted and more. I could have never imagined this, and I'm just really happy that I have friends that aren't big fighting game fans that I'm able to see playing this, having a great time, and we can always, hop into the battle hub and have a couple friendlies because the servers are phenomenal and there's accessibility options for online play too. So if you really want to make it so you only play against people that have 4 or 5 bars as far as connectivity goes, go ahead, man. If you don't care either way, that's a thing too. There is a glove for every hand here. So, definitely if you're interested, it's worth it. If you're still only slightly interested, wait for a sale. Not sure when that would be. Capcom has a lot of sales, but you might have to be waiting a little while for this one because it is hot for a lot of reasons. Do either of you guys have any questions at all about Street Fighter 6?
I have one.
Yeah.
So what distinguishes Street Fighter 6 from, say, Mortal Kombat 11 or the most recent Tekken? Like, what really sets this
Okay.
apart versus other fighting game titles?
So in the past, I would have told you like not a whole lot other than style and execution. But Street Fighter 6 is now, I mean, it's going to be up there with the greats. We're going to be playing Street Fighter 6 for a long ass time. With Mortal Kombat always lives until the next Mortal Kombat. The problem with Mortal Kombat, especially if you're an online fighter, is it's impossible to play against your friends or in a lobby against other people, say for an extended period of time without having any issues. Their servers have always been absolute dog shit. Um, there's never anything that adds anything to that to make it perform better. Um, Mortal Kombat is also always going to be a little bit more stiff in its motions. Um, and a lot of their focus is on like how much can we put into the fatalities and so on and so forth. The closest mode that they have that ever touched World Tour or touches World Tour where it is now is Deception's Conquest mode, and then the Crypt from Mortal Kombat 11 where you're wandering around a crypt and solving puzzles. um it's very much so like it's a lot cleaner. Mortal Kombat's also one of those games that tries to add a little bit more complexity where it really didn't need to, with its kind of different ways that you can build characters and swap out moves and stuff like that. Here, it's like looking at going into a deli and ordering your favorite sandwich and then being like, "You know what? I bet I know what's on that sandwich." It's all the perfects. It's simplicity, but perfect execution. Tekken 8 is over complex. Its servers are shit, and they've been shit for a really long time. Um, the games, as far as style goes, have never really changed. They've always stayed edgy, but really, really weird. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things where these 2 games are better played on a couch with your friends, and trying to play online, you're gonna be pulling your hair out because of lag spikes and terrible connectivity issues. They don't use rollback. So, they're just not optimized for co-op play. And Tekken, the closest thing Tekken ever had was Ghost Battle, and then they had their story mode, which didn't make sense and forced you to play a bunch of characters that maybe you had no interest in ever playing. Um, yeah, if you like single player games, Tekken really is just like you've got arcade mode, Ghost Battle, and a shit-tacular story mode. Um, there's really no better way to put it. Street Fighter 6 has a better single player experience and an incredible online experience as well. Danny, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you real quick. Of all the characters, uh, who's the waifu for you?
Yeah, that's got to be Marisa. Yeah, our Italian Spartan queen. I in a conversation with her as I was trying to raise my bond with her because she's fucking dope. Though lately I've been playing with DJ style, which is Sobat. Marisa talked about, I can't remember what the hell it is because it's a weird ass word. She talked about this like old Spartan wrestling, and she's like, "Yeah, like everyone just used to go in naked, wrestle each other, nothing but the sun on their back in your birthday suit." She's like, "I'd do that shit, but apparently that don't fly today, so I wear as little as possible. But if I had the chance," and I was just like, and but yeah, no, it's really good. Like I said, like, the game doesn't take itself super seriously. They know what the fans want. I mean, that's indicative of how much Jury pushes her feet into the camera. But, like, it takes itself just serious enough, um, while also remaining incredibly interesting and fun. Um, yeah, I mean, this is going to captivate me for a very long time. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, I guess, yeah, the single player, they do have the story mode, I guess, with 11 and 10 and 9. Totally forgot about that. When I think about Mortal Kombat 1 slash 1, 2 slash 12, if I buy that, it's going to be like, I'm going to play through the story mode.
Hmm.
I'm going to play some arcade with Sub Zero. I'm going to fuck around in the crypt. And then I'm just going to look at YouTube and see everyone's fatalities. And I'll be like, ah, man, what a great game. And I'll feel bad that I spent $60 on it, or I guess actually 70. It's coming out at $70. And then they have that like crazy fucking deluxe edition for 250 that comes with a statue of Liu Kang. So, nah. Um I love Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2 is my first game that I ever played, but Street Fighter 6 might be my favorite fighting game that I've ever played, which is really weird. Um Didn't expect that at all, especially after Street Fighter 5, but
Yeah,
Capcom has just been nailing it 100%.
yeah. Okay. No, I think that's all for me.
Yeah,
Do
it's all for me as well.
Solid, go play it.
So we're gonna find out here real quick if Street Fighter 6 would play on Green Elite's new gaming laptop. Green, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I wanted to come on and review a laptop I've been sitting on for a while now. I bought it back in November of last year. And it's genuinely a fantastic entry level budget gaming laptop. I'm referring to the ASUS Tough Gaming A15. You can usually find it on Best Buy at like $800 roughly. They always make it to where like it has like that insignia that is like on sale at 799 and like the normal price is 1,000. But usually all I see it at is like at that $800 mark. During the Black Friday, we can usually pick it up for like 699.99, so $700, and that's what happened with me. I picked it up for the Black Friday sale. Um, it is a 15.6-inch full HD, so it's just a 1080p screen, which is completely fine. But it's 15.6 inches, which is a nice size for a laptop. It is a full 144 hertz monitor as well. So you can take um, you can get all the graphics from that 3050 Ti that's on board. There's also it comes with a Ryzen 7 6800H. It's the laptop 6800, and it comes with 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM. A lot of people are still on DDR4. Both my gaming PC and my stream PC are both still on DDR4. So this is actually kind of an upgrade from what I have now in terms of newer technology. The 3050 Ti runs really well. It handles what it needs to handle for being a laptop. The negative that came with this laptop is that it was only 8 gigs of RAM. However, as I said, it was DDR5 and at 4800 megahertz, which is blazing fast compared to what people are normally running right now. And it only came with 512 gigabytes of storage on an SSD. But the pros of this laptop is that A, it's affordable, and B, it's expandable. I bought 32 gigs of RAM at DDR5 at 4800 megahertz. I popped the bottom of it open, put the new RAM sticks in, and I bought a 2 terabyte NVMe storage, an M.2 storage to add on to it. Super easy to add on. I honestly have no real complaints about this laptop. The style, like the way that you open it up, and it has like this little empty space slot on it, where you can see through to your desk is kind of weird. But like at this price point, I'm not really looking for something that looks beautiful. I'm looking for something that is functional, and this laptop is very functional. Um, I think the only time I saw some like real stuttering was when I played Hogwarts Legacy on it. And I think that's more of it's not really a slight on the laptop. It was like at the beginning of when the game came out, so it wasn't like super optimized. A lot of people were experiencing issues. But the adding the RAM did help. And that's one of like the main reasons why I boosted the RAM, because a lot of games are heavily CPU intensive, which means they eat up a lot of RAM. So doing that upgrade, in my opinion, was extremely necessary. For some people, especially if like let's say this is a laptop that you're going to play Stardew Valley on and Minecraft and stuff like that, you don't really necessarily need anything more than 8 gigs. So, but yeah, it played Overwatch fantastically. I played Hunt Showdown on it. It's going to handle CS:GO. So there's a lot of utility to this laptop. I, as I said, the aesthetics aren't super great on it. It does have a thing where like, it's like the ASUS Armory or stuff like something like that. And it has an onboard graphics, like the CPU has graphics, and then they have the dedicated GPU with the 3050 Ti. You have to have the laptop plugged in for it to run the 3050 Ti. Which honestly, if you're running a laptop and you're using a dedicated graphics, you're going to want it plugged in anyways, because the battery is going to last a whole 15 minutes if you don't. So that's one thing, and it gets spicy. Is a hot boy, a very very hot boy. So that's something, if you don't want something hot sitting on your lap, you can get one of those like laptop fan base things. Where I don't ever sit it on my lap. I always sit it on like a table or something. Yeah, this is a really good scoop. Right now it is $799 99 at Amazon, or not Amazon, Best Buy. Um, when it goes on sale, a lot of the times it will like have to be shipped. They won't have it in stock. But the shipping is really fast too. I think it got to me after I ordered it in like 4 days from a Best Buy center. So um, again, fantastic budget. You can get ones that have like like bigger graphics cards, like a 3070 or 3080, but of course that's always going to reflect on the price. So it really just depends on what you need. and the 3050 Ti for me was what I needed. You know, nothing overly strong, but could still handle playing the games that I currently play. So, any questions on the laptop off the top of y'all said?
Me do. So like with it being a 500, was this was the 512 gigabyte SSD one, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, what I'm noticing a lot lately is that like games are obviously pushing, like some of them push like 90 gigs, which is just
Mhm.
absolutely insane. So you kind of end up having to like specialize or like choose something that you actually like want to have on there. Um, would you say then like recommend that someone grab any extras? Like obviously you said that you boosted the RAM.
I
Or would
would
you say, like, keep this as, like, a put the games that you really want to play, like, say, on vacation and just
mm,
take it with you there?
so I'm gonna go ahead and say that I very much recommend that if you scoop up this laptop that you're gonna want to get a um like an NVMe to store your games. Because 512 gigs is not a lot. Um and right now NVMe storage is actually relatively cheap, especially compared to what it used to be 2 years ago. I think the card I'm looking see here. I'm a new egg right now. I'm trying to figure out how much I paid for. I bought a PNY Accelerate Mendacii at two terabytes for let's see, $122.99
Yeah,
on
it's not
Newegg.
too shabby.
So
So,
yeah,
like, college dorm room, like, powerful gaming laptop, like,
mhm.
pretty good. Otherwise, like, really great if you're just looking for something that can play, like, pretty much anything when you're going on vacation. Um, as far as the price goes, would you say, like, if someone's too scared to, like, dip their toes in to get, like, a whole ass rig, would you be like, "Yeah, it's, like, decent," or would you be like,
Oh yeah,
"Save your money for something bigger?"
yeah. Especially right now, I would recommend like if you're new to PC or you've been wanting to get into PC to play with friends, um, this would be a very good option because it's you can get this built out. Like I think I spent like an extra $300 on RAM and the solid state. Um, so that's still a sub $1,000 computer. And building out. I mean, you already have a keyboard, like because it's a laptop. You already have a monitor because it's a laptop. The only thing that you need is a mouse, and you can get a Logitech G604 for $60 on Amazon. So that's under $1,500. A lot of people budget their budget PC at $1,500. So I would say like especially if you want something mobile and something that you can take on vacation, and you still want to like you can set this up on a desktop and play it at home. So I mean, this is a fantastic option. Like it's not going to have the same exact utility as a fully built desktop PC, but it's going to have that multi-purpose that a lot of people really like. It's like I like traveling, but I don't want to buy like a Steam Deck. Like I'd rather just have a laptop. So I got a laptop, and I got it a lot faster than when Steam Deck actually came out,
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I had, man. That sounds
and it's stronger than a
phenomenal.
Steam Deck too.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So I have just like two thoughts. They're not really questions, but more questions to pose to our audience, I should say. A, if you like content like this, if you want to see us do more tech reviews, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you want to hear more about gaming on the go, let us know because we can talk more about things like the Switch, gaming laptops. I'm super interested in emulators and like these retro handhelds that are coming out. So definitely let us know. And if there's any accessories that you guys want us to talk about that make gaming on the go easier, we can check them out and we can give you our thoughts. So again, let us know
we'll
in the
try
comments.
We'll try out any emulators, apps that you want us to try out, any ROMs that you find you want us to try out. I want to build a Raspberry handheld at some point for emulator app like on the go. It's just whenever the Raspberry actually becomes available.
Yeah.
Because it's not available right now.
Yeah.
Unless I want to spend like $200 on a $45 board.
Yeah. I've been looking at these like Anpernic emulator handhelds for a while now. Or considering I'm overdue for a phone upgrade, so maybe getting an Android and like turning my phone into a emulation machine. But those are all questions for in the future. I don't have anything else regarding the ASUS Tough Gaming A15. We all good there?
I don't either. It's a good scoop. I give it a good solid thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, if you will. In terms of being a good system.
Excellent.
So check it out.
Guys,
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, rolling into deals of the week.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
It's gonna be the ASUS Tough A15 for $799.99.
Honestly, though, like when you remind people, like, yo, this has a keyboard attached, it's got your monitor there, all of that shit, and like one of the number one things, dude, graphics card.
Yeah,
Like
dedicated
it's so
graphics on a
expensive.
laptop is big.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, worth it.
Excellent. So that's what Green is bringing to the table. I am bringing you Midnight Ghost Hunt, which is available for free. Think of this game as a mix between Phasmophobia and Prop Hunt. 2 teams are playing against each other. One group is hunters and the other groups are ghosts. Ghosts can hide as props around a map, and hunters have tools that can be used to detect and kill ghosts. I was in the playtest. I played it a few different times. It was fantastic. It was fun. It's very much worth the pickup. If it's 100% free, which it is. Epic Games free until 06/08, which is this Thursday that the show airs, or the after the show airs. So that's my suggestion. Mendacii, what do you got for deals of the week?
I have probably Humble Bundle always makes me so happy. This is one of my favorite Humble Bundles I've ever seen. 9 amazing Metroidvania games for $15. You got Blasphemous, you got Hollow Knight, you have Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and then a whole bunch of other ones that I haven't seen before that just look absolutely phenomenal. Some of them are adorable. I can't go beyond recommending them enough. In the podcast episode description, you'll see a little linky do to get those for you. It is an affiliate link because we are Humble Bundle affiliates. So if you do end up picking up that bundle, it also helps out the show quite a bit. And I want to hear if you buy it and if you play them because I love Metroidvania games and I love playing them. I think you'd really like it. That goes on until the 21st.
Hell yeah. I don't have anything else. Do we just want to wrap up the show?
I think so, man.
All right. What do we all have going on? Green, what do you got going on?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just got this. We just moved into this new house. I'm trying to figure out how to make my room look pretty. I have a splitting ear infection. We'll see how that rolls out. So if this video gets 100 views on YouTube in the first week, we'll have to play Outlast Trials because Danny conned me into that game. I just haven't picked it up yet. So
Neither have I. I have to buy it.
yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown. We're gonna have to pick up that game if YouTube gets 100 views this week. I believe. I have faith.
Yeah,
Twitch estimates are gonna leave, by the way.
Outlast Trials. At least it went into early access, right under my nose. I didn't even realize it, and I saw, someone that my fiance watches, one of the Phase guys, Jev, I think, was playing it, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta remind Green that I tricked him into agreeing to play this.
I hate everything here.
Mendacii, what do you got going on?
Street Fighter 6, homie. Street Fighter 6 until my thumbs literally are torn from my hands. I'm still in school full time through the summer. So just kind of fitting that in there when I can. And job hunting, dog. You want to know how my path as a warrior, as a fighter, as a criminally overlooked potential employee of maybe your business, if you are seeing this and want my resume, hit me up on Twitter at only Mendacii, otherwise on twitch.tv/Mendacii, MENDACII. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the happy birthdays. And I'll see you in the battle hub.
Hell yeah. Um, for me, I am doing a lot of editing for VRCana. VRCana the other night went fantastically. I can't wait for, if you guys didn't join us live, I can't wait for you guys to watch it on YouTube. I don't think it could have gone better. It was a really fun time, of just an absolute blast. So make sure you check that out. In terms of what's going up on YouTube, we have all sorts of stuff going up on YouTube. We have one more episode from our bonus series of VRCana, so be sure to check that out. We have shorts coming up on YouTube, community posts, so make sure that you guys subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I think that's pretty much all I've got. You can shit post with me on Twitter at DaniK, DANIECAE. But that's the whole show. Thanks for watching and listening. Your time and attention is always appreciated. If you made it this far, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. That's always appreciated. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts and opinions and everything that we talked about in this episode. We do read every single comment that we get in, and we respond to every single comment that we get in as we can. We might be... No, I don't think we're going to be live the next one. I think it's going to be another pre-recorded episode, so be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitch for all that information. Until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting the good fights, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye!
And let me kiss you on my hot lips.